What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Prospect Spotlight, where you get a chance to learn more about NFL draft hopefuls. I'm Steph Sanchez, and I'm excited to have Wofford defensive tackle Anthonie Lattany Jr. here with me today. Anthony, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Just training and enjoying. How's everything going for you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm blessed and glad to hear that you're doing well. Man, I know you're doing well. I coming off that pro day, and I'm sure some weight has been lifted off your shoulders a little bit after that. Can't wait to talk about it. But before we get into all the nitty gritty here, I want to start this interview off with a rapid fire, 5 fun questions just to get us started here, get the juices flowing a little bit. So first thing that comes to mind, you just let it out. All right.
All right.
All right, starting out with PlayStation or Xbox.
PlayStation.
Favorite cheat day meal.
I try not to go too bad, so I try to go like Chipotle. But if I'm really gonna have like a cheat meal, I like soul food.
Okay. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm turning into a morning person.
Okay. If you could jersey swap with any player in the NFL right now, who would it be?
Right now, I think I'm gonna say Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one. You watching any March Madness right now? Who you pulling for?
I'm pulling for Auburn. You know, I got a real close
Okay.
friend who used to play there, so I'm an Auburn fan. I'm pulling for Auburn.
All right, let's go Auburn then. All right, so let's get into the real questions here. So, Anthony, you had many stops in your college journey. You played some JUCO, spent a fall at Air Force, then landed at Wofford. Walk us through your journey and why Wofford was the perfect final landing spot for you.
So yeah, coming out of high school, I wasn't very like highly recruited. I was actually the first Division I player from my high school, so it was very small. I kind of had to I made my own film. I put together like my own cutups and everything. I didn't have a lot of help, so I did that. And then Air Force actually they ended up being my very first offer. I had some other FBSs and FCSs, but overall I was talking to my family a lot at the time. Like we decided, Air Force was a good opportunity for me because not only life after football, but just the opportunity it was giving me at that time. But ultimately, like you said, I went there for a semester. I realized that the military aspect wasn't really for me. So I kind of
Mhm.
wanted to, get closer to home. But this was all during COVID. So then there wasn't much going on in the transfer portal for me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play a spring season at JUCO. So I went to JUCO, and at the time, I wasn't really getting to play much. I was kind of waiting my turn, sitting behind guys. So I was kind of getting in like the trash minutes, just kind of getting in, seeing what I could do. And I ended up getting a sack. But ultimately, my practice film, because I was going against other Power Five, prospects and stuff like that at the time, my practice film ended up getting me smaller FCS offers. And at the time, Wofford was real close to home for me, so I ended up going there, and that's how I ended up here.
Okay, yeah, and it's been a great landing spot for you. Was there a year, throughout your college career where you feel like, the game started to slow down for you and things started to click a little bit different?
Definitely last year. My this past season was definitely that year for me.
That's what I figured you were gonna say, because like I was looking at the stats and it just seems like everything kind of
Yeah,
came together, right?
yeah,
Like it
definitely
was your
last year.
first year as a full time starter. You started all 12 games, all conference second team. You had 3.5 sacks. That's like what you had in your career,
Yeah.
basically. So, um, why do you think like things started to gel different in that year? Was it just kind of a culmination of all the previous years and all the work you had put in, or was it something specific?
Really, I mean, a combination of all things, but I think just really maturing, growing up. I've learning really knowing everything about the game.
Mhm.
Continuing to like eat better. That's a big thing I've started lately because I ended up my freshman year, I believe, I was around 315 or so. But I've started to actually I don't really eat a lot of processed foods or bad things anymore. So I've been getting very lean, which is, at my pro day I ended up weighing in 290. So I've cut down a lot of the bad weight and I've gotten a very lean. But I say that has helped me a lot. That helped me a lot. And really just film study, just breaking stuff down, finding out different tendencies and things. I just really put a lot of time into, my craft and everything.
So tell me more about the film study process for you. Like what goes into it throughout the week? What are some things you look for in opponents when you're game planning?
So yeah, me as a defensive tackle, I like to anything I could pick up on, whether it's cadences with the quarterback, whether it's offensive lineman, the tackle, does he have his hand in the dirt, different things like that. A lot of times people will give away a lot of things,
Mhm.
whether that's how the center's leaning in his stance, if he's pulling, like there's just a lot of different things you could look at. And again, another thing with the tackles, sometimes they'll be the side the ball is not going to that tackle, he'll be up or down versus that.
Mhm.
So it's just different things you could study based on your opponent.
Yeah, there's always a tell.
Yeah.
So just
Then specifically for myself, I kind of try to just I really critique myself hard. I watch my footwork. Am I giving away things? Am I giving away when I'm slanting, when I'm moving? I kind of pay attention to those things, my stance, am I keep making everything look the same? Really
mhm.
those type of things.
Okay, yeah, I was about to ask you on yourself, and you just went right into it. I love that. So how would you describe your play style to someone?
I would say I'm a disruptive player. I would say I'm pretty explosive in that I could definitely like change games and disrupt things throughout the middle, or whether that's move me outside. At Wofford I played a lot of different things on our defensive line. I line up outside sometimes at the end. I go play zero. I play three tag. So I'm pretty versatile, so I could do a lot of different things.
Is there a specific technique that you prefer that you think fits your skill set, or you just kind of game for whatever?
I'm game for whatever, but my favorite thing, like I enjoy rushing from a three technique.
Okay, for sure. And if someone could only watch one game of yours, which game would you tell them to turn on?
Uh, that's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna say I really have two. I have two,
Okay,
but
all
there's
right,
a reason. So I would say Furman because in the SoCon that was like our biggest rival, and that was like probably my best game this past year. I ended up having three TFLs and two sacks in that game,
nice.
and I actually ended up the very last play of the game. I actually made a TFL to win the game, so that was probably my most exciting game. But I would say probably watch South Carolina just because that's me versus Power Four
Right,
school.
yeah,
They can see what I can do versus higher level offensive linemen. Because I know like me playing in FCS, that's always going to be a thing. They're going to say,
right,
the competition that I faced, can he do that versus better people? So
right.
I would say I'd probably tell people to watch South Carolina.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a good one. I'm gonna get to a question in the chat here. Shout out CG. Are you a trash talker, or do you let the play do the talking?
Um, I get into the game sometimes. I do like the trash talk a little bit, but that comes with it. I'm a competitor. I love
Yeah.
competing. I love football. Football is, uh, a violent game. So I like trash talking a little bit.
Sometimes, like, if it just spices some things up and
Yeah.
gets
Gets the
you
juices
going,
going.
yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I know you played some basketball and shot put in high school. I have to imagine like a lot of your explosiveness you could probably attribute to that. Do
Yeah.
you feel like there are any other skill sets from those sports that have translated to football or just kind of, made it a little bit easier?
So, yeah, I would definitely say that helped me, playing basketball, throwing shot put. And then at my high school, again, it was very small. So I actually played running back. I played tight end. Like I played outside linebacker on top of playing D line and being recruited as a defensive end and defensive tackle. So I would say like just all of that, having the experience in playing those skill position type of roles and stuff like
Mhm.
that kind of helped me. And then basketball, that helped me a lot as well too.
Okay, yeah. So you've done it all, like as far as like your versatility, not just in sports, but where
Yeah.
you've lined up over the years. So that's awesome. You had the opportunity to showcase yourself in front of scouts at the CGS All Star. How do you feel like that week went for you?
Honestly, I think it went very well. At the time going into CGS, I was still very, very under the radar. There wasn't a
Mhm.
lot of people who known about me. So even while I was out there, I was having good practices. I was doing very well, but I didn't talk to a whole bunch of teams. I think I talked to Dallas, the Chargers, and the Colts, but that was it. They weren't really, I didn't get a ton of interviews like a lot of the other guys. So, I was kind of thinking, like what's going on. But and I interviewed with a Shrine Bowl scout out there as well. and he said he was gonna keep up with me and everything. If they had a spot open up, that's kind of what was going on. But I guess they ended up didn't have one open up, so I didn't really get to showcase again what I can do against different level of competition, because that's a big thing. I know that's a big thing. So
Well, you did have your pro day last week, and you were able to put the league on notice there for sure. Your athleticism was on full display, so much so that I saw you have an unofficial RAS score of 9.85. Were you surprised at all by your testing numbers, or is this what you were expecting to like this whole
honestly,
time?
this is what I was expecting. I was going into it. I didn't have a lot of nerves or anything. I was genuinely excited. I was like, this is my chance. I get to show everybody what I can do. I get to show them how I can move, how I can run, how I could jump. Because again, I was really, really under the radar. There wasn't a lot known about me. A lot of people going into it didn't really know much. But as the pro day went on, they seen me jump, they seen me do it, and kind of like that kind of got things going a little bit. So I was very excited for the opportunity, and I was ready for it.
So, how did it feel knowing that like your pro day performance would have been one of the top performances at your position at the combine?
Yeah, no, it was very exciting. Again, I trained really hard, going into it. I was very prepared for it, and I was very excited. But it was excited because I remember like leading up to it, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, my numbers are like right there. So I was really
Yeah.
excited though. I was ready to go out there and do that.
And how important did it feel for you to like know you had to nail your pro day, given that, after CGS, this was one of the last chances you were going to have to like leave a lasting
Yeah.
impression before the draft?
Yeah, no, it was definitely very important. It was a big day. I'm waking up every morning 6:30. I'm checking the date. I'm excited, like I'm getting ready for it. I knew like for me specifically, this is like my last chance to really, really, get some eyes on me and show people what I'm capable of. Not even like just the running, the jumping, but in the positional drills and the bag drills, the way I move. So like I knew what was at stake. And again, I was just very excited for it.
And like you always hope that teams are going to show up after watching your tape, but sometimes it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Sometimes they see these performances and they're like, "Oh, like we got to go watch the tape now."
Yeah.
And I know like you've gotten the chance to meet with many teams at this point. So, what's kind of the feedback that you're hearing from teams so far in terms of what they like about you, what they want to see more of?
Yeah, I mean, specific feedback I've been hearing from different teams, they like me. They think I'm versatile. They think I'm very athletic. I can move well. They think that I can not only play against the run, but I have the ability to, pass rush at the next level just because of my explosiveness and the way I move. Um, they've been saying I use my hands well. I've been seeing I've got good pop in my hands. I've been seeing different, stuff like that. And actually some scouts that I've heard that same thing as well. So
Are they kind of seeing a specific spot for you, or are they kind of wanting to try you out everywhere as well?
not that I know of. As of now, from what it seems like, they think I'm just pretty versatile. I could do different things, like along the whole defensive line for real.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge plus for you. So now that pro day is over, I assume you're now back to football training. So walk us through what a typical day of training is looking like for you right now.
So a typical day, I'm up at around 6:30. I'm getting a good breakfast in, getting good protein shake, good breakfast in. I'm eating. Then I go hit to. I'm actually still training in South Carolina where I went to school at, so I still have access to the training rooms and stuff like that. So then I'm going to go get into the tubs. I'm getting my
Mhm.
body ready. I'm getting warmed up, stretching, stuff like that. Then I go work out. After that, I work out. I go back, shower, get into the tubs again, get into Normatec boots. Then from there it's kind of chill and repeat the same thing every day.
All right, yeah, it's still a grind. It's not over yet,
Yeah.
but it's getting close. We're like a month away now from the draft. Is there anything specific that you're wanting to improve in your craft during this time, but in the lead up to the draft and in the lead up to you joining the team?
Um, I would say just keep working on my pass rush ability, just different movement things, just staying fresh and good within my defensive line technique, staying sharp because I know technique is big at the next level, and I just want to keep that sharp, keep getting stronger. Again, keep eating clean, getting lean, getting strong, and just really just setting myself up to be successful and my body being ready for that level.
Um, are there any plans for the draft? Have you thought about what you're gonna do? Who you gonna be
I'm
with?
just I'm just gonna be, here where I'm at, just, training and stuff. And I hope to, possibly hear my name called day 3 or so. If not, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to wherever I get in at, I'm excited. I'm ready to work. So
I love it. And Anthony, I always end my interviews with this question: what is a team? What is a fan base getting both on and off the field with Anthonie Lattany?
yeah, they're gonna get somebody who's who's coming to work, who's ready to grind, who's ready to show that I belong here again. Coming from FCS, I've got that chip on my shoulder, because that's always going to be a thought. And I just want to show everybody that I belong, that I can play at the highest level, and that really that they're getting somebody that's high character, good defensive lineman. Really, I just want to show them, that I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna be a dog in them trenches.
I love it, and I know a team's gonna love it too. And they're already starting to love it, right? You're hearing from them in troves. So, hopefully, you get more teams reaching out to you in these coming weeks. For now, I wish you the best of luck, for the draft, and obviously beyond that as well. Gonna be rooting for you.
Thank you so much, and
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
of course. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because there will be plenty more Prospect Spotlight interviews just like this one. But for now, have a good rest of your Monday, folks. Peace.